the heart of a dense forest stood a dilapidated cabin, its wooden walls weathered by time. An air of desolation clung to the place, as if the trees themselves recoiled from the secrets it held. Lucas, an adventurous photographer seeking inspiration, stumbled upon the cabin during one of his solitary hikes. The sun was setting, casting long shadows that seemed to stretch toward him as if beckoning him inside. The cabin appeared abandoned, yet Lucas sensed an unseen presence, a whisper of life within its decaying walls. As twilight surrendered to night, Lucas entered the cabin. The air was heavy, thick with the scent of damp wood in decay. Moonlight filtered through the cracked windows, painting eerie patterns on the floor. The silence was punctuated only by the occasional rustle of leaves outside. As he explored, Lucas discovered old photographs scattered on a dusty table. The images depicted a family, their smiles frozen in time. But it was their eyes that held a haunting sadness, as if they carry a burden they couldn't escape. A gust of wind extinguished a nearby candle, plunging the cabin into darkness. Lucas fumbled for his flashlight, his heartbeat quickening. A soft whisper seemed to echo from the corners, a voice that was neither here nor there. "Help us!" Shivers ran down Lucas's spine as he followed the voice into the forest. The moon's pale light illuminated a path that seemed to materialize before him, leading him deeper into the woods. Each step was punctuated by the murmur of leaves, as if they were conspiring with the shadows. In a small clearing, Lucas discovered an ancient tree, its gnarled branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. The whispers grew more insistent, forming words that tugged at his conscience. "Find us. Free us." Guided by an inexplicable compulsion, Lucas began to dig at the base of the tree. His fingers struck something hard, and with every scoop of dirt, the whispers intensified. His hands trembling, he unearthed a small, weathered box. Inside lay a collection of letters, each penned with love and despair. The correspondence revealed a tale of tragedy, a family torn apart by circumstances beyond their control. The forest had become their sanctuary, the ancient tree their confidant as they poured their hopes and fears onto paper. With each letter Lucas read, he felt the weight of their sorrow settle upon him. He understood their longing for closure, their desperate plea for release. He realized he was their last hope, the conduit between the living and the forgotten soul. Over the following days, Lucas delved into the forest's history. He discovered that the family had perished under mysterious circumstances, their souls seemingly bound to the place they had sought solace. Local legends spoke of a curse that could only be broken by returning the letters to their rightful place. Armed with this knowledge, Lucas ventured into the forest once more. The whispers guided him to the ancient tree, where he placed the letters in the hole he had dug. The earth seemed to sigh, the wind stilled, and for a moment the world held its breath. A symphony of whispers enveloped Lucas, their voices rising and falling like a haunting melody. The forest seemed to come alive, its very essence resonating with the release of trapped souls. And then, as suddenly as it had begun, the symphony ceased. The moon emerged from behind the clouds, casting a soft glow on the tree. Lucas felt a profound peace wash over him, a sense of closure that transcended his understanding. He knew that he had fulfilled his role, a bridge between the realms, a keeper of stories long forgotten. As he walked away from the ancient tree, a gentle breeze whispered through the leaves, carrying with it a promise of gratitude and farewell. The cabin remained standing, but its air had changed. It no longer held secrets that bound it to the past. Lucas left the forest with a story that was not his own, a story of souls finding rest, of a lone traveler who had lent them his ear. And whenever he looked at the moonlit woods, he knew that even the darkest places could find solace in the light of truth. In the heart of a forgotten village, nestled between mist-covered hills, there stood an ancient church. Its towering spire reached toward the heavens, and its time-worn stones whispered tales of centuries long past. Locals spoke of a haunting melody that would occasionally emanate from the church's grand organ, echoing through the village at the stroke of midnight. Amelia, a curious musician, had heard of the legend during her travels. Intrigued by the story, she decided to visit the village and experience the enigmatic melody for herself. Arriving on a cloudy evening, she was struck by the eerie aura that enveloped the place. The villagers exchanged cautious glances as they directed her toward the church. As midnight approached, Amelia entered the church, the smell of aged wood and incense filling her senses. Moonlight filtered through the stained glass windows, casting a mosaic of colors on the pews. The organ's intricate pipes towered above her, their intricate designs almost seeming to breathe. With bated breath, Amelia waited. And then, as the church bells tolled midnight, the air grew still. The first haunting note resonated through the chamber, its sound simultaneously beautiful and chilling. Amelia closed her eyes, allowing the melody to envelop her. The melody was mournful, its notes heavy with a sense of loss and longing. It seemed to tell a story of love torn apart by fate, of promises left unfulfilled. As the music swelled and faded, Amelia felt a presence in the room, a presence that seemed to listen and respond to the melody. With each passing night, Amelia returned to the church, unable to resist the allure of the haunting melody. She felt a connection with the music, as if it were a bridge between the living and the realm of spirits. The villagers regarded her with a mix of pity and unease, warning her of the dangers of meddling with forces beyond her understanding. One night, as the melody reached its crescendo, Amelia heard a soft whisper, a voice that seemed to emerge from the very chords themselves. "Help me." The words sent a shiver down her spine, and she knew she couldn't ignore the plea. Driven by curiosity and compassion, Amelia delved into the history of the village. She uncovered a tragic tale of a love affair between a musician and a village girl, forbidden by their families and ultimately resulting in their untimely deaths. The villagers spoke of a curse that bound the lovers' spirits to the church. Amelia's research led her to an old journal hidden in the church archives. The journal belonged to the musician, and its pages told a story of heartbreak and yearning. As she read his words, Amelia felt an unexplainable connection, as if the musician's soul reached out to her across the centuries. Determined to break the curse, Amelia composed a new melody, a song of hope and redemption. Armed with her violin, she played the new tune alongside the haunting melody of the organ. The harmonies intertwined, creating a tapestry of sound that seemed to bridge the gap between past and present. As the final notes resounded, the air grew electric. The church's time-worn stones vibrated, and a soft light filled the space. The presence Amelia had sensed grew stronger, and she felt a profound connection with the spirits of the musician and the village girl. With a final powerful chord, the church seemed to exhale, as if releasing a breath held for centuries. Amelia knew that she had succeeded. The curse was broken and the spirits were free. The haunting melody ceased, replaced by a peaceful silence. The village seemed to sigh in relief, and a new energy seemed to infuse the air. As Amelia stepped out of the church, she felt a gentle breeze brush against her skin, carrying with it a melody of gratitude and farewell. Years later, the village thrived, and its inhabitants carried the story of the musician and his love as a reminder of the power of music and the strength of human connection. And on some nights, when the wind rustled through the hills, a faint, soothing melody could still be heard. A melody that spoke of love transcending time and a musician's soul finding peace. In the heart of an old mansion, hidden away from prying eyes, there hung an ornate mirror. Its intricate frame held a secret, a portal to a world beyond our own. The mansion's history was shrouded in darkness, as was the mirror's true purpose. Sophia, an antique collector with a fascination for the occult, discovered the mirror in a dusty auction house. Drawn to its enigmatic aura, she purchased it and brought it home. As night fell, she placed the mirror in her bedroom, unaware of the power it held. That night, Sophia's sleep was plagued by vivid nightmares. She dreamt of a realm beyond the mirror, a world of shifting shadows and whispered voices. In her dreams, she saw a figure beckoning to her, its face obscured by darkness. Upon waking, Sophia felt a persistent unease. The mirror seemed to hold a malevolent presence, its glass surface shimmering with an otherworldly energy. Determined to unravel the mystery, she began researching the mirror's origins. As Sophia delved into the mansion's history, she uncovered a tragic tale. The mansion had once been the residence of a wealthy family, their opulent lifestyle a facade for dark secrets. A portrait of a young woman named Isabella caught Sophia's attention. Her eyes held a haunting sadness that seemed to pierce through time. Isabella's story spoke of forbidden love and betrayal. She had fallen in love with a servant, a relationship that was deemed unacceptable by her family. Desperate to be together, they sought a way to escape the confines of their social status. In their pursuit of freedom, Isabella and her lover had stumbled upon an ancient ritual, a ritual that involved the mirror. They believed it could grant them passage to a new life, away from the judgment of society. But the mirror held a price that would bind their souls to its depths. Armed with this knowledge, Sophia began to experience inexplicable phenomena. The mirror seemed to come alive, reflecting not her image, but scenes from Isabella's life. She watched helplessly as Isabella's tragic story played out before her eyes. The clandestine meetings, the heartache, and the ultimate betrayal. One night, Sophia's reflection in the mirror began to change. The glass seemed to ripple like water, and before her stood Isabella, her eyes filled with sorrow and longing. Sophia reached out, her fingers meeting the cold surface of the mirror. Their hands brushed, and a surge of energy passed between them. With a shiver, Sophia felt herself pulled into the mirror's depths. She found herself in a realm of darkness, a place that existed beyond time and space. Isabella stood before her, her form translucent yet tangible. Isabella's voice was a whisper, filled with a mixture of anguish and hope. She revealed that the mirror had become a prison for her and her lover, a place where their souls were trapped for eternity. The only way to break the curse was to find their true descendant and pass on their story. Sophia's heart raced as Isabella's lover materialized beside her. His eyes held a plea for salvation. Sophia understood that she was their last hope, their link to freedom. Armed with determination, Sophia returned to the real world. She delved deeper into Isabella's history, tracing her lineage to a distant relative. With each discovery, the mirror's power grew stronger, and the boundary between their worlds blurred. On a moonlit night, Sophia stood before the mirror, the weight of generations behind her. With the words of Isabella and her lover in her heart, she spoke their story aloud. The mirror's surface shimmered, and a blinding light enveloped the room. When the light faded, the mirror hung empty, its dark secrets finally laid to rest. Sophia felt a sense of closure, a connection that transcended time. Isabella's presence lingered in the air, a whisper of gratitude and release. Sophia knew that she had done what she could to free Isabella's tortured soul. As she turned away from the mirror, she couldn't shake the feeling that, in some intangible way, Isabella and her lover had found the peace they so desperately sought.